Hello everyone, welcome back, Iron Sentinel. What has just unfolded is nothing short of extraordinary. A moment in modern warfare that has shifted the perception of power in the Middle East and beyond. The reports pouring in claim that Yemen Houthi missiles, once mocked and underestimated, have done the unthinkable. They have punched through Israeli defenses and struck at the very heart of Tel Aviv, leaving behind wreckage, panic, and questions that shake the very foundations of Israel's military doctrine. This is not just another clash. This is a warning signal that no fortress is invincible, no defense system untouchable, and no military giant safe from a determined adversary, armed with precision, speed, and sheer audacity. The exterior of this crisis reveals itself in vivid scenes. A clear night sky suddenly cut apart by blazing contrails of missiles hurtling toward one of the most fortified cities in the world. Sirens wailed across Tel Aviv as people scrambled to bunkers. The familiar Iron Dome batteries lit up. Interceptors launched one after another, yet the trails of fire that should have been intercepted continued their deadly descent. The skyline, once glowing with the hum of a modern metropolis, was suddenly interrupted by eruptions of fire and smoke. Tel Aviv, Israel's financial, cultural, and political lifeline, saw its confidence shaken as Yemen projectiles ripped into its defenses. The shock value here is immense. Not only because the Houthis are thousands of kilometers away, but because they have shown that geography no longer provides security when missile technology evolves beyond expectations. Inside, the story feels even more unsettling. Within Israel's command centers, confusion was reported as missile tracking screens lit up with multiple inbound threats. Officers scrambled to prioritize targets, but the incoming strikes displayed speed and maneuverability that defied the usual interception patterns. This interior perspective highlights the chaos of decision-making under pressure as defense networks long considered impregnable showed vulnerabilities that stunned both commanders and civilians alike. Even ordinary residents huddled in reinforced rooms felt the walls tremble and the ceilings crack, realizing that the war had arrived inside their homes. The performance of the Yemen missiles shocked military analysts around the world. These were not random, poorly aimed projectiles, but precise high-speed weapons that carried both range and destructive payloads. Analysts believe the Houthi may have upgraded their arsenal with advanced guidance systems, possibly assisted by foreign expertise, making them capable of bypassing electronic countermeasures. Their performance displayed agility in flight paths, striking from angles and with timing that overloaded Israeli defense algorithms. This was not a fluke. It was a demonstration of evolving missile warfare where low-cost but sophisticated weapons could neutralize multi-billion-dollar defense infrastructure. Tel Aviv became the performance stage where asymmetric warfare wrote its newest chapter, and the results were chilling. Safety features in this context take on a grim irony. Israel's entire defensive architecture is built on the concept of layered safety, Iron Dome, David Sling, and arrow systems backed by early warning sirens and civilian bunkers. Yet these safety features proved insufficient when faced with missiles that combine speed, trajectory shifting, and coordinated timing. The system that had been advertised globally as the ultimate protective shield suddenly appeared porous, reminding the world that no safety feature is absolute when adversaries innovate beyond expectations. For civilians, the safety measures became limited to prayers and reinforced basement, but even those could not silence the fear that spread across the city. Safety became psychological rather than physical, with leaders struggling to reassure a population that had just witnessed the collapse of their protective umbrella. The unique selling points of this attack from the Houthi eyes are shocking and symbolic. First, the sheer reach. How a faction from Yemen previously confined to its civil war could extend its arm to Tel Aviv and force Israel to confront a new dimension of threats. Second, the psychological warfare it demonstrated to every regional actor that Israel's defenses can be breached, and if the eyes could do it, larger powers with more advanced arsenals could wreak even greater havoc. Third, the cost imbalance. An inexpensive missile defeating a system that costs millions per interception. This inversion of economics is a nightmare scenario for Israel, and a dream for its adversaries, showcasing how small actors can force powerful nations into unsustainable defense spending. Finally, the symbolism. The very act of Yemen, long marginalized, striking at the heart of Israel, sends ripples through regional politics, emboldening allies and shaking deterrents. When we speak of price in this situation, we're not just talking about economics. The financial cost is staggering. Every Iron Dome interception cost tens of thousands of dollars, and the system fired dozens of interceptors in a desperate attempt to stop the barrage. The missiles that broke through caused infrastructure damage worth millions more. But the deeper price is geopolitical. Israel's image of invulnerability has taken a hit, and this loss of deterrence may embolden enemies on multiple fronts. The human cost cannot be ignored. Either lives lost, families shattered, fear instilled in millions who thought their city was untouchable. The price is also paid in international perception as allies now question the effectiveness of Israeli defense systems and adversaries quietly calculate the opportunities such exposure provides. In conclusion, what happened in Tel Aviv is more than just another missile strike. It is a turning point in modern warfare, a showcase of how determination, innovation, and asymmetry can level the battlefield. The Houthis have demonstrated that even with limited resources, a determined adversary can shock a nation into reconsidering its strategies. For Israel, this is a wake-up call that safety cannot be guaranteed by technology alone, that overconfidence in systems can lead to devastating surprises for the region. It is a message that the balance of fear is shifting, and no one is too small to make an impact. Conflict Skies and Steel brings you this revelation with the urgency it deserves, because the skies above Tel Aviv just changed the rules of the game. The war of missiles is no longer about hardware alone. It is about psychology, strategy, and the shocking reality that power can be challenged by those once dismissed as insignificant. The destruction witnessed is not just material, it is conceptual. Israel's military dominance, once seen as unquestionable, now faces a new era of challenge. For Yemen, this is a propaganda victory that amplifies its stature across the Middle East. For the global audience, it is proof that the future of warfare lies in the unexpected, the underestimated, and the unconventional. The world has just watched the impossible unfold. And the question now is not whether this was an isolated event, but whether it is only the beginning of a new chapter where missile warfare redefines the boundaries of power. Conflict, Skies and Steel will continue to uncover the truths, the shocks and the shifts that shape the battlefield of tomorrow. Stay with us because what comes next may be even more unsettling than what we have just witnessed.